on.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Dylan Box. It's been a while. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Harsch.
And I'm Chris LeRoy.
And we're here to talk again about all things Dylan. There's been a lot going on in this year. Let's get to it, Chris. What do we have?
Well, you know, in the Dylan box, there could be some new entries. So
Okay.
so let's see what we have for this week. Shall I reach in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Watch your hand.
Okay. All things.
I'll help you out here.
You know, this hasn't gotten any better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, it's heavy.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Another.
Budokan, 1978. So
Was
it
the
appears
year.
that we have a revival of a previous recording, Dylan at Budokan, that was very, I believe when it came out, divisive.
Extremely
correct?
divisive. Oh, Lord.
I have my theories about why, but I'd like to hear what you think.
When it came out, folks really felt that somehow he had sold out, that he had just gone wacky, essentially, because he was wearing a kind of Las Vegas style white suit, and he took, some very revered songs and turned them very pop.
Okay.
And
Like Vegas almost, or?
well, they thought it was the Las, Viva.
I'm thinking
Las
Neil
Vegas.
Diamond almost.
Exactly like
right?
Neil. Well, kind of like Neil Diamond. And on the surface, well, it was a double album,
Yes.
and it really was panned pretty hard. The critics just not really accepting this move, and but I remember that my brother just absolutely loved that album, and he would be listening to, this "I Want You" with the flute part. That's such, and you
Get
would
to the flute.
yeah,
that's-
and you would think, okay, a person, my brother's a big Dylan fan, Blood on the Tracks. He likes essentially 3 albums in life.
Okay.
His 3 favorite albums are Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks, John Coltrane, Giant Steps,
Oh, yes.
and Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. So
Can't
for
fault
him-
him for, yeah.
so
Two
he
of those, yeah.
He was on a good
Yeah.
course. But he heard this, very, very pop thing, and rather than being turned off, he just sort of found that there was fun listening to these, reinterpretation of, classic Dylan things, and it didn't strike him like, oh, this is a bad album, I'm not going to listen to
Right.
it. So the more he would have it on, the more I would listen to it, and it just for me
Yeah.
at that time, I started to think, I wonder if this album is as bad as people think.
Maybe it isn't. And I think probably the reason why a lot of people, well, not everybody, but those who were against it was really kind of maybe the first time when he started messing with the fabric of his songs in like a live setting, right?
Yes, yeah.
And totally changing the arrangements, which he did for years afterward.
Yeah,
From then on, it was that's what he did live. Another thing about this too is it was recorded pretty early in the tour. So some folks would say, well, if you caught the stuff later on in the tour, it was better. It was like the band was more polished, and
Yeah.
But this was like I think from the first night, maybe the third night because he played in Japan for like a pretty good run.
Because it already was a double album to
Right,
begin with.
right.
So some of the revelations I think about really comes in listening to 2 relatively similar sets. But by having the full set, you got maybe a little more clear idea of what he intended to do or what he was trying to do.
What the show structure was like.
Right,
'Cause
right.
I hear it. It's great that we have this like released. What now? Almost 50 years later, because now you get to look at it in a whole new way. And to me, it sounds amazing. Like just the vinyl, and then what we hear on the CD.
Right.
It sounds so crystal clear. That flute, though, I can see how some people, the flute is like kind of prominent on some of the
Yeah,
songs.
Stephen Ducklow, and these were
Right,
all really
yeah.
great musicians.
Right.
It wasn't like this wasn't a good band. This is one of his best bands. that he
Absolutely.
played. and play it in an authentic way what he was trying to get across. So on this version,
Yeah.
How is this different than the CD version that I have?
So you have like a 4 CD version. There's
Uh-huh.
an 8 LP version. This is a 2 LP version.
Okay.
The 8 LP you can only get in Japan. I mean, I'm tempted to buy myself an early Christmas present, but
Yeah.
I'm good with this. I mean, so this takes different songs, and they're all of course remastered.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the best of the set, more or less.
Okay.
So I mean, you get a lot of the songs that were on the original release, but you have some songs that I haven't heard, like Repossession Blues.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Ballad of the Thin Man. There's some other things like Man and Me, which is great live. Like I've never even heard that live, I don't think.
Yeah.
Ends with Forever Young. All on the Watchtower. The way it starts out, it sounds like he's going to do Hurricane.
Right.
It's really kind of cool to hear some of these things in the live setting that he's doing on. You see like the picture on the back though, definitely shades of like Neil Diamond. 'Cause he's got some kind of like white, spark. His arms are out. So definitely like there was, I think it was like the cabaret or the lounge act, or they were calling it something.
Sure.
This is a period for him, and he had just done. I think had just done Street Legal, or he was about to do Street Legal.
Yeah, its placement in the canon is interesting too, because what had just come out prior? What's the album prior to this?
Desire.
Desire.
Right? Yeah.
So he had a really strong album, highly praised,
It's wonderful.
very great storytelling. His collaboration with Jacques Levy,
Right.
and it was almost like this kind of new Dylan music.
Yeah.
And here's this violin and a fiddle playing, and there was a feeling of cohesiveness to that album.
Right.
That you just really, you kind of woke people up, like, oh,
Absolutely.
Dylan's back, kind of a thing. And if you go in the arc, you don't even think about this album, the arc between how people raved about that album to Street Legal. Street Legal ends up being, again, really angry reviews about it.
Like they had a weird mix, which I think it's been rectified, but then it was also Dylan kind of doing Springsteen almost.
Right.
To me, like it was almost like he had a bigger band, so it was like, here's Dylan doing his version of the E Street Band.
Right. And the songs aren't, again, weren't as celebrated at the time.
True.
But what's interesting is this catches two periods. So here's the Dylan that's almost like a darling of Rolling Stone magazine, and he's got that cool hat. Remember he had that just gypsy look and whatnot, and everything about it. And there's the tarot cards in the back. Just everything seemed like it. He played the right hand.
Yes.
And then Street Legal, he's still cool. He's standing on
He's got a vest.
He's got his vest,
like looking off to the side.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, it still looks cool, but he looks a little lost. And people took that and kind of skewered that album as though there weren't good songs. Street Legal is one of my favorite Dylan.
That's great. Yeah.
And even at that time, I'm saying, I know that people don't understand the lyrics to Changing of the Guards. Do people understand any lyrics by Bob Dylan?
Listen to Blonde on Blonde.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
What's going on there?
Oh, boy, if you were confused then, you would be confused now, and you'll be confused rough and rowdy ways.
Absolutely.
So it couldn't just be that there were some songs that are inaccessible. He just was kind of losing touch with some of his critics.
It was a big transitional period because after that he went into the so-called Christian period, which we've talked about in a very early episode. But you can see the progression now,
right?
But then I'm sure it was like, what's he doing? Like, what's he gonna do now? What's
I think that's sort of what's key to this, and in the CD version,
right?
There's both
beautiful packaging though.
Oh, it's
like
massive
with the flowers and
it's
the
pretty.
cover's pretty awesome.
Let's go back to. I just think that's one of the best covers.
It's so cool.
Because that didn't happen. Someone went back and they said, okay, let's show this for the art that it really was.
Right.
And there's a quote in there when he talks about how much he loved being in Japan. and being by this rock garden that he left his soul there and he was going to return. And it's either, just leaving a nice note to Santa Claus, or it's something that he really did feel.
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with transition. I
Yes.
think that when you listen to both, they're like the full sets of both nights.
Yeah.
Even though there's songs that are repeated and whatnot, what you get is a little darker, more mysterious thing that also is kind of happening, which kind of gets lost in the translation. A little flute comes on, and the people are like, "Oh,
Well, the comment on that. The first song is "Hard Rain's Gonna Fall," but it's an instrumental,
right?"
So you can kind of picture like everybody coming out, and then like Dylan comes out with like a cape, maybe, right? Like a James Brown thing,
right?
Right? Or
Right.
it's very theatrical, because you hear it. I put it on. I never heard the version of it. Like, oh, this is gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And then it's all instrumental.
Yeah.
So it's like it's introducing the band.
Right, and it's it's a little bit of showbiz,
Right.
And for someone who has been in showbiz as long as Bob Dylan, it's funny now to look back and say, "Oh, well, he was just being showbiz." Well,
Right.
that's why he had a career. You break it down, he always goes, "I'm just a song and dance man."
Do you think of yourself primarily as a singer or as a poet?
Oh, I think of myself more as a song and dance man,
There's other people who want to imbue his whole output as as political or spiritual or such and such. He's a songwriter. He has a band. He has albums. He's
Right.
plugging whatever's the next thing is in line, and he was freeing himself up
Yeah.
from whatever the previous album, and say, I'm going to try to make a clean break with live stuff. And so I might turn people off. And in fact, they're going to get mad that I'm kind of making this pop. Let's make them real mad.
Yeah.
And let's just do it. Let's just have this light touch, and we'll have stuff. But it's not all light. And what the nice thing of this set is you delve into some the other, it's like A Man and Me or some of the other things where they really start to capture what ends up being a sound that's not unlike Rolling Thunder down the road.
Yeah, and it's almost like even with all the instruments, it's still when I listen to it, because I just put it on headphones and I walked around listening to it. It was like the songs were a lot of instrumentation, but it was very like almost like he broke it down.
Yeah.
So you're listening to these simple versions. But it really kind of reminded me of Leonard Cohen. When he put out a couple live albums and like maybe the last 10 years of his life. It sounds a lot like this, like with the backup singers and the instrumentation. So it was kind of cool to compare the two of that. Like maybe Leonard Cohen was going for a sound that was similar to this.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Coming off of Rolling Thunder, which was this big production, he added a whole new band. I think for like Rob Stoner was playing bass, but everyone else was brand new, and just did something different.
Yeah.
For the live setting.
Yeah. And I think maybe as an artist, he thinks, well, who's the person I need to please with my art? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, there's only one answer. It's just Bob Dylan. It's a little like, it's a show unto itself.
Right.
It's Christmas album.
I recently picked that up, actually.
There's a similar disdain that folks have for that album. But I'll tell you something, 20 years from now, well, he'll probably still be touring, but if he's not, and if he's not with us, people are going to be looking back and say, thank God we have that Christmas album. Thank goodness that we have this document of what he was trying to do at Budokan and forward, and just saying, I'm freeing my hands of this. I'm moving on to this pop thing. Catch it quick, because it might not be the same tomorrow.
And it wasn't.
And it never was. And you had mentioned before we started how right now he's in a very unique space to where he's playing a similar set every night.
Yeah, which he didn't really do.
Yeah.
He's playing like Rough and Rowdy Ways, basically the whole thing, and then he's adding a song or two that's different, but the set is essentially the same.
Yeah.
And I saw him 2 years ago, like a little more than 2 years ago. Same thing. He played most of that album. He played like 5 or 6 songs, and then I think he played a cover.
Yeah.
And then he closed with Every Grain of Sand. And it was an amazing show, but it's crazy to think that he's just doing the same thing every night. But who knows if different it is.
Yeah, which is most bands.
Right.
Most bands,
Yeah.
when half his age, are kind of playing their set.
True.
I know Grand Funk was in town the other night. I bet you they played We're American Band. But what's very interesting about this album is that it's much more freeing. The more you get to hear of it, it's much more freeing when it's said and done because you realize he's just having a good time himself.
Yeah.
His singing on this album, his singing during this era was so strong still. He still was in full command of his voice.
Enunciation of like blowing in the wind.
Right.
A man to be free. Look at how he just enunciates some of those
He does.
very
He's
simple
kind of
words.
crooning a little bit.
Right,
Crooning a little bit.
right.
But, he looks around.
Uh-huh.
Years later, he devotes, I don't know, about 1,000 albums.
Yeah.
I mean, quadruple, triplicate albums of, of crooning and
Right.
him just doing his favorite Frank Sinatra plus material. It was already in him. And so
Yeah.
that little crooner,
Yeah.
it was already in him. All that stuff was there, but he was just following a path that was just being revealed to him as he went along.
Why not? And it's interesting too how he didn't really play any new songs, right?
No,
he just broke out the old song. I think it's what pissed people off. It's like, how dare he put a flute in this song, or how make it sound like it's a schmaltzy song?
Yeah.
But they were his songs, and there was a quote in the Rolling Thunder doc, and I'm gonna mangle it, but he said something like, "Life is not about being this or being that. It's like creating things."
Yeah.
So that's kind of what he would constantly do with some of these songs. He just create new things from a foundation.
Yeah.
And so, like it or not, he did this, and then he would do the same with the Christian live set.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
he created this persona on stage, and very, very theatrical too.
Yeah.
I think.
It's the stuff of true artists. When you look at Picasso, you look at folks, and there's these different periods that you can place them in. I'm sure he's sort of cognizant about that, but he's had the goods for X amount of years to be able to deliver his changes.
Right.
So
Right.
So it's an album about his changes.
Right. And it's interesting. It's a live album, and he's developing himself on a live setting and in the studio in two almost completely different ways.
Right, yeah.
So he's using the live plat because the shows aren't going to be the same as the album, which is any band I want to see. Like I'd expect some difference. And that's what he delivers on this record. I think it's great. I recommend
Completely.
anyone pick it up. I love it.
And if you have a favorite band that you like, just have them hire a piccolo player. Just
Yeah.
fly him in.
And a over exuberant saxophone as well, because he has that on here too.
He's the same guy.
Is
He's
he?
the same guy. It's just
Okay.
Stephen Douglas.
Okay.
Yeah. They sort of edged him off the stage. It always reminds me of Peter, Paul, and Mary. I don't think it's Ed Sullivan Show, but it's one of these things where they're on very high platforms.
Right.
And there's like three of them. They're each on these very tall platforms. And I don't remember if it was Paul Stokey or not, but he was just backing up, and he would get to the front of the stage, and he would back up, and he would get up to the front. But they're small. This is the size
Yeah,
of this
got
table.
a little-
And right towards the end of the song, he fell off the back.
Oh no, he exited himself from the live show.
Puff.
Yeah, essentially, yes. That's
So
funny.
that probably
Yeah.
happened to the piccolo player.
Right. He just
But
fell
I
off
do.
the stage
I
somewhere.
agree with you. This particular set again, overpriced as all get out.
Yeah.
But just a wonderful booklet with it. It's got all this memorabilia. So if you want, what the tickets look like and some Japanese posters.
Oh, cool.
So it's
Yeah.
just- it's
The artwork and
it's worth it.
money is no object when it comes to this man. Same with another band we'll talk about, the Grateful Dead. For me,
Yes.
and then, it's money well spent because
Yes.
it's the stuff you're going to be sharing with other people. And we'll be back on another edition of Dylan Box. We have a lot more to talk about. I'm Ryan.
I'm Chris.
Thanks everybody. Another Budokan.
Gonna walk down the dirt road.